Renz 510 Radio.
This is 510 Radio. What's good with it? What's good with it? It's your boy Renz Jr. right here on Renz 510 Radio, 510radio.com. Back again for episode 33. And first off, I'm going to say shout out to my squad, the East Bay Kings of the ABA. We're going to be back in action this year. After a year off, I'm looking to set a tryout date. We shooting for the last weekend of August. So just stay tuned in at the Instagram over there at East Bay Kings, and also on my Instagram at Renz_Julian. Also look out for the documentary dropping this summer. It's finally wrapped up. Send it out distribution, and just keep checking in on the release date. I don't know the exact date, but it's coming soon. Appreciate y'all support on our nonprofit organization. Get people out, create jobs, hopefully a pro career for up and coming athletes out here. Check back at RenzJulian.com, also on the website for the locations. I appreciate all the support on my new single, She Get Low, featuring Drake. You know what I'm saying? It's already up on all the platforms. Again, I appreciate y'all. Just buy stuff from the website, because that's 100% going straight to the artist, to the business. This whole music industry thing is, they robbing everybody, man. They robbing artists. It ain't like what it used to be. So it would help if people buy directly from the artist himself. You know what I'm saying? Copy when you see me, or copy it on the website. That's the best bet for artists to eat direct to the consumer. Anyway, I appreciate the love on all the views, all the new subscribers. And we up over 20K subscribers at the beginning of the year on YouTube. I was at like 5K. You know what I'm saying? So just podcasting and new music that I've been dropping, I see a lot of movement, a lot of motion going on. So appreciate y'all for tapping in and tuning in. But you know what? Today, what we're going to do is we're going to talk about the Warriors. Let's go ahead and get into it, man. Like, it took me a little while to wrap my head around it. I see a lot of talk about what's going to happen in the off season. But we're going to talk about it, man. Why is it Coach Kerr can't develop younger players? I mean, it's the coach's job to make the pieces fit. If you got the level of talent of a Kaminga, then he needs to be given a little bit more attention, a little more leeway to figure out how to utilize the skill set. They need him. They needed him to take the pressure off Steph when he was, getting bombarded with defenders, and then he was getting DNPs. That's crazy. So when Steph goes down, now you need him. Now that's trash. You would look at the coach sideways, like, man, that's some BS, man. You stop believing in the system and the coach when the messages get mixed and they start twisting and turning and changing the scenario, changing the narrative and all that. Oh, now you need me. That's crazy. He either fits or he don't. But anyway, they need to call plays that suit his skill set when the regular Dubs motion offense ain't working. His strength is, it's in ISO situations, but I could see him being useful as a lob threat and backdoor cuts in the motion offense. Pick and roll sets in the motion. In the motion, you can call these plays when things are happening. Things are happening so fast. I know they have their system. I'm just kind of recollecting on how I've done it. With my squad. If certain things ain't working, then you got to change it up. And I think there's a lot of ego and selfishness killing the Dubs. And the core, they need to address that issue. Whatever you got to do, stay late after practice. Watch film and figure out how to make it work. Every scenario, they should have an answer for it. So Kerr, Steph, and Dre have a certain way. They've won a certain way over the years, and they need to. But you got to realize times is changing. You know, the league is younger, faster. They're a little older now. You know, bringing in Jimmy, you know, of course, it's definitely going to help with the experience, but it also hurts a little bit at the same time because you saw what happened. You know, the older you are, the more likely you are to get hurt. You got hurt. Steph got hurt. And the younger guys weren't ready because they weren't playing. You know, you get into a rhythm by playing. You develop by playing. And having, you know, you feel like the coach is behind you and supporting you, and that'll give you confidence. But if you feel like you out there and every little step you take is the wrong move, you're going to be like, you don't want to do nothing. You're going to feel timid. So that's what I see going on with that situation. But again, so bringing Jimmy in was a good thing, but you know, I saw some things wasn't feeling like. He's not aggressive when we need him to be. He's driving to the hole, going under the hoop and coming out the other side and passing the pods or passing it to Draymond. Like, man, you are the one that we need to take over. You know, forget about them two. You here for a reason, especially when Steph is out. You got to be the man. We need a minimum 25, 30 points in that situation. So it was kind of it was a huge letdown watching what materialized with that trade. But then you got to look at this. What's going on with Kerr and not being able to develop young talent? He's failed to do that. You don't trust them. He doesn't have the ability to motivate them or to teach. So, I mean, we can go back all the way back to James Wiseman. He had great physical tools, but Kerr just didn't have any patience for him. You know, and when somebody with the resume of a Kerr stops believing in you, and the rest of the league damn near is gonna, do the same thing. So I don't know if he's gonna be out the league at some point. I gotta look him up and see what's going on with him. All I know is what I saw when he was here. He had all the tools, patience, playing time. That's how you develop, make plays for the guy. What does he do well? Eric Pascal, another guy that get 20 points, power forward type. These are players that are coming in with more athleticism than Draymond and Looney, but they're just disregarded as they're too young, and then eventually they get out the mix and they're just sitting there. They have no confidence now, and then they end up off the team. Jordan Poole. We don't win that 2022 chip without Jordan Poole. He would have been a key player to transition to the next era for the Dubs. Definitely, I've seen a lot of Steph in him. But obviously the organization took Draymond's side and felt like, he's more important. So we're going to go ahead and make this move. But what does that do? It's just more drafts and more years go by where the guys that we bring in from the draft, they don't develop, and then they get shipped out of here. The younger generation of Dubs gets pushed out because they believe in doing things the old way. And it's you got to have a mixture of both. So whatever the case may be, it's like another potential star left the roster under Kerr's watch, and now it's about to happen again with Kaminga. Steve Kerr said Kaminga doesn't fit with this team. He doesn't fit with the current roster, man, but I beg to differ. Did he fit when he scored them 30 points back-to-back games this year? I mean, I think a coach shouldn't overcomplicate things, and always remember it's just basketball. You got to go with the flow. Go with what's working and react to how the opponent is defending you. When the Dubs motion offense isn't working, then that's the time you can go to ISO ball. That's what Kaminga excels at. Draymond can't do it. I mean, you give him the ball in the post, he takes 2 dribbles and passes it back out. I've never seen him do any kind of ISO. Rarely does he go to the hole and give you something in the post or at the wing or anything. That's not him. That's not his game. You need somebody who can do it. Kaminga can do it. Butler can do it when we need a bucket. I understand when JK got hurt, they brought in JB, Jimmy Butler, and they went on a run. They did the thing from down the stretch. They made the playoffs. But relying on 35-plus-year-old players to play that way all the way through without thinking that an injury is going to happen, that's crazy. And the DMPs for JK, man, that's unexcusable. I mean, he should have been at least the sixth man, especially when the starters other than Curry can't get a bucket. Can't get a bucket, man. Pods, he's hot and cold. But he has a long ass leash, and we'll get into that. But it's crazy, Kaminga makes one mistake, he gets the hook, snatch him out the game. They need more consistency in the starting lineup, And they had 33 different starting five combinations in 2025. I mean, that's crazy. That's like schizophrenic, man. That's like psychotic. He changing his mind like every day, throughout the day. I mean, look at the stats. That's all you got to do. Who gives you the best chance to win? Who's averaging more than who? And I mean, I know it's not that simple, but still, man. The proof is in the results. Look at the numbers, man. He was averaging more than Pods and taking less shots. He's more athletic. Okay. Oh, he can't play D. Yeah, he can. I've seen him get blocks. He can play defense. I mean, when he was guarding Anthony Edwards, I mean, he looked like the only guy that could match him athletically. So basically, man, it's been a double standard about that when it comes to Pods. He plays 30-plus minutes, shooting terrible percentage at 44%, averaging 11, while JK is going to give you 15, 16 points. Like I said, he's going to get pulled quicker for his mistakes, and then he gets DMPs. Something ain't adding up. So we all know that Father Time is undefeated. And when you have a dynasty, to keep it going, you got to make tough decisions. You got to know when it's time to pass the torch and get guys out of there that can't do what they used to do. Kerr should know since he played on two dynasties with the Bulls and the Spurs. The Bulls core went from MJ, Scotty, and Horace Grant to MJ, Scotty, and Kukoc and Rodman. And they got their sixth ring in 1998. Two totally different rosters, and they had to play differently and adjust to the new personnel, and they made it work. With the Spurs, Kerr was there in '99 when they won with the Twin Towers. They had David Robinson and a young Tim Duncan, Avery Johnson at the point, Sean Elliott. They won a totally different way. Again, they had a dynasty with that same squad, ending off in 2014 with Kawhi, Duncan, and Parker, and Ginobili. The point is, both dynasties had a transition period where changes needed to be made, and the old players had to be replaced. In Golden State, it seems to be a fight against the inevitable and a battle between the old way and the new generation. It's crazy because from 2009 to 2013, Mark Jackson was the head coach. He was the one that developed young Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, and Draymond. And then Kerr comes in 2014. He reaps the benefits of what Mark Jackson built. It was a ready-made playoff roster that had already made the playoffs twice. Back-to-back appearances, 2012-2013 season and 2013-2014 season. Now, do I think Steve Kerr can coach? Yeah. I mean, he definitely, he brought out the small ball motion offense, and the league wasn't ready for it at the time. He had a weapon that the league ain't never seen in Curry, and he figured out how to take advantage of that. But right now, I mean, the league seems to have caught up. It's going back to standard, basketball, with bigs, and it's actually looking a little bit more physical now, like it was in the 90s. So without Steph, we know the system doesn't work, and Kerr is being exposed. He just benefited from having a great roster that he took over in 2014, and then also in 2017. The front office did a great job, man. They got KD. I would say his best coaching job was in 2022 when they won it without KD. and he got the best out of Wiggins and Jordan Poole. But right now, we're seeing them mismanage Jonathan Kaminga and rely way too heavily on the older vets. You know, I mean, it's to the point like where if one of them goes down, you know, the system it fails completely, and that's what happened. So what should we do? I mean, we've seen and heard the rumors all over the internet, all on the radio. Let's go ahead and talk about it. Giannis, he's only 30 years old. If they make a move, try to get Giannis, I mean, him and Steph could go on a run for at least the next 3 years, and they'd have a better chance, I think, than if they were to keep this same roster. Mostly because of the age. Old Draymond, old Jimmy Butler, old Steph. But Giannis, that's a guy that can get you 30 points, you know. That'll take a lot of pressure off Steph. I say we go all in. If we got to lose Jimmy, Dre, and Kaminga, I don't want to lose Kaminga, man, but if we have to, that's probably the only way that the Bucks would even consider it. Plus, they might even want a first rounder. But I think it'd be worth it to see Steph and Giannis together for the next 2, 3, 4 years. And they can fill that roster out with some shooters. Even they got to send pods along, go on ahead, take them all. You can have them. We'll just start with Steph, Giannis, and we'll fill out the rest of the roster. I think they can make some things happen. They got a good front office. You know, I would keep Buddy Hield. He's a shooter. He just needs to shoot. You keep some young talent like Moses Moody. He's proven he can do the job. He's a little inconsistent, but he may just need a little more time. He started. He was a part of the starting lineup that had us get to the playoffs. So I think we can keep Moses Moody and Quentin Post. There's a shooter. It's a guy that I see get 20 points, you know, in limited minutes. He just got to work on his defense, and he's got to be a little more physical. Get in the weight room. Definitely think he's somebody they can work with. You know, off the bench, you know, I still like GP2. I really still like Jackson Davis. He could probably he could start depending on who we get at center. Santos, and maybe keep Pat Spencer to see what he could do with more playing time. But that's probably all they can afford. If you get Giannis and Steph, it's not going to be a lot of money to bring any big names in. I mean, if they could flip a 3-way deal and find a way to hit Wiggins back or Clay, that would help. And then the starting 5, you know, you have at least 2 shooters that, I mean, most teams, everybody can shoot, but 2 reliable shooters to go with Steph and Giannis, and a solid big to go with, you know, to hold it down and keep him off of Giannis so he doesn't have to play center. You know, but with that, the bench doesn't look that great, man, but that would give us a better chance, you know, I think, than what we have right now. So that's my take on it. That's a scenario. I appreciate y'all tapping in, tuning in with me. Go ahead and keep slapping that 5-0 radio, Renz 5-0 radio, 24/7 West Coast slaps. Look out for the documentary From a Peasant to a King, the story of the East Bay Kings. And keep streaming my new single, Get Low, featuring Drake. Got a lot of new music coming out, new album. Look out for the East Bay Kings this fall. We're getting back on the court. And until next time, I'll at y'all, man.